Today, we're diving into a pretty wild economic story. It's a place where you've got oil derricks and data centers, cattle ranches and movie sets, all in the same state. We're talking about a rare mashup of old money, new tech, and a little bit of Hollywood glamour, and it's all happening in a place you might not expect. So what do Martin Scorsese, Google, and beef cattle have in common? I know, it sounds like the beginning of a really weird joke, right? But the answer is Oklahoma. And these three totally different things are actually the pillars of a unique economic boom that is completely reshaping the state's future. We're calling this whole thing the Oklahoma Triple Crown. And this isn't just one industry having a good year. No, this is about three completely separate, powerful economic engines all firing on all cylinders at the exact same time. And as you're about to see, they're actually helping each other grow. And the scale here is just staggering. Just to give you some perspective, the state saw a record-shattering $13.7 billion in new capital investment this year. That's a state record. So how on earth did they get here? Well, let's break down the three pillars of this boom, starting with the one that's been there all along. Okay, first up, Oklahoma's original economic powerhouse, agriculture. I mean, long before anyone was thinking about data centers or film studios, there were farms and ranches, and this sector is still the absolute bedrock of the state's economy. The numbers here are just massive. The total economic punch from agriculture and food production just hit almost $112 billion. So this is not some fading old-school industry. It's a huge, stable force that supports hundreds of thousands of jobs, especially out in the rural parts of the state. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. A whopping 80% of all agricultural sales in the state come from just one thing: cattle and calves. Oklahoma is the second biggest producer of beef cows in the entire nation. You know, in a state that's famous for oil, you could say this is its other black gold. But it's not just cattle. The state is also a huge player in crops. It's a top-tier producer of winter wheat, you could call that the state's other gold, plus things like rye, pecans, and sorghum. All of these are bringing in serious money for the economy. All right, let's move on to the second pillar of this Triple Crown, and you'll see how this starts to build. We're talking about a massive flood of corporate investment from some of the biggest names on the planet. Just look at this number. Google has committed an incredible $9 billion to the state. That includes a huge new data center. Now, an investment like that doesn't just bring in jobs, it basically cements Oklahoma's place in the global digital backbone. And it's not just big tech. Over in heavy industry, Emirates Global Aluminum picked Oklahoma for its main U.S. manufacturing plant, announcing a $4 billion facility. That is a massive vote of confidence, telling the world that this is a place where you can build really big things. And to round out this corporate blitz, you've got aerospace. Oklahoma is already known as the MRO capital of the world. That's maintenance, repair, and overhaul. And companies like Pratt & Whitney are doubling down, building new sites like this $225 million facility for military engine support. And now for the third and maybe the most surprising piece of the Triple Crown: Hollywood. The film industry has become the state's most visible success story, turning Oklahoma's wide-open landscapes into Hollywood's new favorite backyard. And we're talking about major A-list productions here. Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, it pumped over $127 million straight into the local economy. The blockbuster Twisters spent $120 million and booked 28,000 hotel nights in Oklahoma City alone. And then you have shows like Tulsa King, which are creating this whole new thing called film tourism, with fans literally flocking to see where the show is filmed. And this is where you really see the impact on the ground for regular Oklahomans. The average wage for a local film crew member has shot up 66% since 2019. It's now close to $80,000 a year. These are high-paying, creative jobs that, frankly, just didn't exist at this scale a few years ago. So, here's the crucial point. You have these three incredible booms happening all at once. But the real story, the secret sauce of the Triple Crown, is how they all work together. When you look at these numbers side by side, it really clicks. You've got the massive, stable foundation of agriculture. Then there's the explosive new money from big corporations. And on top of that, you have the high-growth, high-profile film industry. Any one of these would be amazing on its own, but their combined effect is where the real magic is happening. And here's how it all connects in this incredible feedback loop. Okay, first, those billions in corporate investment, they grow the state's tax base. That money then helps pay for better infrastructure, better roads, schools, you name it, which makes the state even more attractive for the next company. Second, that deep agricultural heritage, it provides exactly what filmmakers want, these huge, beautiful, authentic American landscapes. They're not just ranches, they're ready-made movie sets. And finally, the glamour of Hollywood brings a global spotlight. It suddenly puts Oklahoma on the map as this cool, creative place to be, which in turn helps those big tech companies like Google recruit the top-tier talent they need. See, it's a cycle where each success fuels the others. So that leaves us with one big question. Is this unique mix of agriculture, big tech, and Hollywood just some kind of lucky fluke? Or has Oklahoma accidentally discovered a new blueprint for economic success that other places could actually learn from? It's a question well worth watching.